Hey guys, so I'm going to be showing you how to make sopapillas, and they're traditional Mexican dessert and they're really good. So before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands and then I'll explain everything else to you. The key thing, you always want to make sure you do that first. You want to probably wash them, count like the ABCs twice in your head. You want to make sure you get all underneath your nose because you will be handling dough. Okay. Then another thing is, if you have long hair like I do, put it up. It's a good thing to do, so you won't get hair on anybody's food, because that is pretty gross. Okay, so as you can see, I pretty much have all my ingredients already laid out and measured, but I will still show you everything. So here is white wing flour, all-purpose flour. I recommend this one. This is the only thing I'm pretty kind of picky about for brands because it really works well with the dough. Everything else you don't have to worry about brands. Okay. Then you have your baking powder. You're going to need salt, cinnamon sugar, and this is cinnamon sugar blended together. You don't necessarily need to have them blended together like as I do in can. If you don't have it, you can make your own just cinnamon sugar together. It's not hard. Then you're going to need canola oil and just regular. Your materials you'll need a sifter, a good sized bowl, and a pot holder. You need a rolling pin and a knife with ridges. And if you have a pizza roller that works well too, any type of knife, something that'll cut through the dough. Measuring utensils, as in measuring cups, tablespoon, teaspoons. Now, you're also going to need a pot full of water, probably about 3 cups of water, and a 3-quart pan. Another small bowl or whatever for your cinnamon sugar, which is already in here, as you can tell. Just a plate for when you're done, and tongs. So those are your materials, so we'll go ahead and get started. First things first is the flour. You're going to need to sift it in here. You're going to want to do all your dry ingredients together, which is the flour, the baking powder, salt, and sugar. So you're going to need to sift the flour, which is this. Sift all the flour up. It'll take a little while, but it's worth it in the end. Alright, so I already put in 1 cup of flour with that other sifter, but that one's a little bit too complicated, and so this one, it's still a sifter, but works a lot easier, so do the second. Get with it. And it goes a lot quicker, trust me. It's a lot easier on your hands too. Okay, so now that that is complete, you can go ahead and put all of this aside. Right there. Next you will add in your 1 tablespoon of sugar. Put that aside. And your 1 teaspoon of salt. And then you're going to need 2 teaspoons of baking powder, but I didn't have an extra one, so I'm just going to go ahead and have to make one with it. That's another teaspoon of baking powder. Now, like I said, you're going to have to use your hands with a lot of this, which is why you want them really clean. You're going to have to mix it up with your hands. Get a good blend. Okay. And once you think it's nice and blended, or it feels right, there's not just powder or anything in a particular area, you can go ahead. That is all good. You're going to want to add in your liquid ingredients, which includes your 1/3 cup of oil and the water you're going to gradually put in. So you want your water to be lukewarm. So you're going to want to put it on a low level and let that warm up as you put in your oil. So put in the oil. I'm going to spread that around. Okay, toss that aside. And you're going to have to use your hands for this as well. You're going to use your hands for about everything you do. You want to mix it up really good, okay? You're going to get these weird clumps, and you're just going to want to break them down with your fingers. So like clumps, I can't see on my hands, but just those nasty little raw clumps. I'm just going to break them down so that you can spread it, because that's just when it gets all mixed together and not good. Okay. And you want the texture of your mixture to be kind of like a sand, not so much rocky. So probably now that your thing is all nice and grated and sandy kind of texture, you're going to want to go ahead and check your water. So go ahead and wash your hands again. And the way I check it is I just kind of put my hand, because I know it's not going to be hot. But if you're a little too cautious about that, because most likely sometimes it will be hot. See, right now the water's perfect. You can just always use a thermometer. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, the stove. So you don't want that running. Pick up your pot, and be careful because the pot most likely will be hot. It's over a flame. Put it on a pot holder. You're going to want to make a little well. So let's go ahead and make a well. And you can kind of see it right there. And you're going to gradually add water. So just a little bit at a time. In the middle of that, not too much. And now you're going to start mixing with your hand. And this is going to go ahead and create your dough. Okay. You're going to want to kind of get it all in a ball and squish it together. Okay. See, after you already made kind of a little part of it, you just kind of set it aside to the bowl. And then you go ahead and do the same thing. You make another well. Go ahead and make another well. Grab your, well, you go ahead and wipe your hand. Okay. Grab the water and gradually pour some in there. And do the same with that. Okay. And if you add too much water, your dough will become gooey, and that is not good, because that means your dough will not turn out the way you need it to. Go ahead and start trying to combine some of these together. Okay. There you have is another bowl. Let me combine those two. So I'm gonna set that aside. As you do the same thing, get another well. And mix. And this does tire out your hands, so. And with this dough, you can get a little creative with it if you start making some sopapillas and you have some leftover dough and don't really feel like you need any more sopapillas. So that's crazy because you can never get enough. You can always use it to make some empanadas, which are kind of like, well, the ones that I make are kind of like quesadillas, where I just take some cheese and I put it inside and I roll up the dough and then I just fry it. And when you take it out the fryer, just like you will do with the sopapillas, so I'll kind of explain that a little bit later as well. It'll turn out really good, trust me. Okay. So now here's probably about the time where you want to put a little bit more water. This is where you can kind of gradually put it on the dough because you don't really have that much powder left. So just a very little bit. Now you start turning over your dough, making sure water gets with it all. I'm kneading that water everywhere so that all of the powder can soak up the moisture. So you almost got it. And they're really good. See, now your dough is pretty much formed. What always helps me, once you get your ball of dough and you feel like it's still a little dry and powdery, you can stick your hand in your pot of water. A little dry, which mine is just a little bit. Stick your hand in your water, not too much, just like a little drips, and then just knead it with your hand. So that way moisture gets in it as you're running your hands all around through it. So after your dough is formed, this is where you kind of get to take a little bit of a break and clean up. You get a big wash rag, but make sure it's dry. Lay it out and get your dough and stick it inside the rag. And it will not stick on your rag, so don't worry about it. Just wrap it up, and this helps lock in all the moisture. Because if you leave your dough out too long, it will get nasty and dry, and it won't be helpful. So now that you have your dough all wrapped up, you can go ahead and clean your station. When you're done cleaning, I went ahead and got a cutting board because I realized with my counter you can't really see the tortilla. So this way you can see it when I roll it out. So anyways, here's your ball of dough. You're going to go ahead and unwrap it and take a chunk out of the dough. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and rewrap the dough up. Put that to the side. And you're going to make it into a nice ball. And want to make it kind of like a mushroom head. So the way I do that is I make it go in a circle and I push the dough underneath it. So like that. Okay. And after you got a good one, you go ahead and get your rolling pin out and you roll your dough out. And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle or whatever because you're going to end up cutting it anyway. Size particularly doesn't matter either. I like mine kind of big just because I like, when you make them a little bit bigger, then they come out more fluffier, which is probably the best thing to do. So, I mean, it's up to you. And for some of you who've never had to actually roll out dough before, if you're having trouble or the tortilla dough is sticking to your rolling pin, you can always just take some flour, put it on the board, and just do it like that, and it'll help it from sticking. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and cut it into 4s. So down the middle, and down the middle that way. So now you get sort of like a triangle shape, which is good. And now that you already have your triangles done for this first batch, you're going to go over to the stove. Okay. You're going to want to go ahead and turn your pan, the fire on the stove on. And put it sort of on medium. And here you can probably fill up half of your pan with canola oil. So half of your pan, which would probably be about 12 fluid ounces, because that's what's left in this bottle. So half of your pan. You're going to go ahead and let that kind of sit and get hot. So you might need a little bit more. So. Go ahead and go back to your dough. And set your triangles to the side and just keep on creating more triangles. So getting out more dough while your oil heats up. Okay, so I went ahead and chopped up all of my triangles out of the dough. So now is where it gets kind of easier. So we're going to move all of our triangles over here. Set these probably right here. What you want to go ahead and do is take your triangle-shaped doughs and put them in the oil, which has been on like a low right now, and it's going to want to bubble up next to it and form a nice pillow. So as you can see, it's doing that nice little bubble. And the pillow, you can kind of tell by the way it's coming out. And be cautious with this because the oil does like to pop. So it could possibly burn you. If you're not comfortable sticking it in there with your hands like I am doing, then you can use your arm, just kind of stir them around. See how it's just a nice big bubbles everywhere? You want to flip them every once in a while. The color that you're looking for is a golden brown. So that's what these are going to end up looking like. As you can see, this one right here has already begun to pillow up. Oh, here we go. It's going to go ahead and pillow up, which is good. Let's stick that back in the oil. And these are beginning to do the same. And when you think that they're about done cooking, then have that nice color and that nice texture to them. You're going to go ahead and take it out with the tongs, of course, or a spatula if you don't have tongs, and drop it in the cinnamon sugar. And you want to drop it in there right away so that the sugar will caramelize itself around it while it's still hot and oily. And this will help it, stay on and not be so messy. And you can either shake the bowl of sugar or you can use your hands. It's not going to be hot either way. I went ahead and finished all of them and left these ones to show you. So we have our nice plate right here. It doesn't really look all nice and plated, but it will. I'm going to take it out and put it on your plate. And by now it shouldn't be so hot. I mean, they'll be hot, but not where you can't touch them. Okay, now that they're all nice and good, just stick it on your plate, and you are completely finished.